Yo, welcome to episode 61 of my Seraphic Blue playthrough. I'm gonna go ahead and do some quick healing because I just finished recording the last session without really taking a break or anything. I feel like we're gonna face a boss, but at the same time, I feel like there's gonna be one random battle before we even reach it, so let's keep going. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. So you have made it here. Is this the heart of Benedicta's tears? It is, just right ahead. But before we go there, I have to first enlighten you on the truth about this planet. It's about time. Alright, cool. Lorddom, I'm ready. The truth about Gaia's pretty much relates to the life journeys of Benedicta and me. Unless you have a good understanding of them, you will not be able to destroy the core of Benedicta's sorrow. Let these be known to you then. The journeys of spirits across heaven and earth, as well as the genuine sorrows of the founders. I shall start by introducing ourselves. My name is Catherine Rio, while my parents' name is Benedicta Frezite. Oh, our partner's name, my bad. Misread it. We are well known in the world of the ground as the two greatest female scientists there ever existed. I am sure you already know this, right? The family of Frezite, that was where it all began. The Frezite family was a world-renowned noble family that had continuously produced generation after generation of famous scholars. And when a girl was born into that family, she, like others before her, was expected to continue that tradition. That girl was Benedicta Frezite. It was the year 2687, which was 35 years ago. Benedicta's family consisted of her parents, her elder sister, and herself. Being famous scholars, her parents were too busy to look after her. Even her sister did not have the time to accompany her due to the gifted education program that she was in. As a result, the person who took care of her on the behalf of her parents was Hassan. Hassan was originally the guardian of the Frezite family, and a magic doll created by Benedicta's parents 3 years before she was born. Since then, he has been protecting the parents' children in place of the parents who were not usually around, or who were usually not around. One could say that Hassan was more of a parent to Benedicta than her real parents. Benedicta was raised well without having contracted any serious illnesses. However, her path in life was not of bright prospects. She was deemed mediocre. Her parents considered her equivalent to a member of a lower middle class. No matter how much they tried to educate her, there were just no signs of improvement. Eventually, they gave up on her. Instead of showering love on her, they sprouted words of slander, such as a disgrace to the Frezite family and a failure. Benedicta's well-being did not even matter to them. All that mattered was dignity, and that it was simply unfortunate for a member of the Frezite family to bring disgrace to the family. They told her that a failure like her would be better off contracting a serious illness and dying as soon as possible. The policy of eliminating double standards that most noble families held back then was no exception for the Frezite family. Although Benedicta lost support of her family, she at least still had Hassan by her side as she carried on with her life. But even then, as she admired her parents and wished to win their love, she became inspired to study hard and improve herself. That, however, turned into an obsession. She could not bear to live without fulfilling her desire to be loved by her parents, without removing her fear of not being loved by them. Benedicta's efforts proved unsuccessful. In the end, she was unable to break away from her mediocrity before her mother and father died of illness when she was 19 and 26 respectively. What awaited her as she attended her mother and father's funeral were the cold, gazes of her kin. They saw her as an unfilial, good-for-nothing. And during her father's funeral, this was what she said to her deceased parents. My family lost various things as a result of my birth. My mother had needlessly endured pain to give birth to me. All the expenses incurred to support me had gone to waste. I have soiled the reputation of the Frezite family. I wish to express my sincere apology for this sin of mine. I am sorry for coming into existence. However, shortly after her father's funeral, an ironic outcome occurred. She was a late bloomer. She began making numerous achievements, one of which was being the refinement of Gaia theory. Before anyone knew it, she became one of the most outstanding scientists to come from the Frezite family. However, her heart was not content. The things that she had always desired were not fame and honor, but love and praise from her parents. Unfortunately for her, the opportunity to gain those things were already lost for good. Then, in the year 2732, her life came to an end at a young age of 45. She committed suicide. Suicide? So she didn't die of illness. Historical records show that she died of sudden illness that was actually fabricated by her kins in order to keep up appearances. During that fateful night, she committed suicide by hanging herself on the rope that she tied onto a large tree in the garden of her home. And it was Hassan who discovered her body in the next morning. Due to his status as a magic doll, he was unable to shed a tear, even if he wanted to, and could only look at her with a seemingly sad look on his face. Ouch. Even though Benedicta achieved great fame as a scientist, she was never able to gain the things she truly sought. She had lived those empty days like a soap bubble, and on that very night, she was gone just like that. Benedicta's life thus came to a close. However, it would lay the first and the greatest foundation for a milestone to come. After Benedicta's death, her spirit reincarnated into a new life without heading to the soul stream. The second life form, a Serahuman. Yes, Benedicta's spirit became a second kernel soul and was reborn into the world's very first Serahuman. That would be me, Catherine Rio. Benedicta's destiny would be carried over to me. Initially, I had lived my perfect normal days as a girl without knowing anything about Benedicta. However, those days took a turnaround when I was 15. I heard about that before, back at the Museum of Juves Marine History. You and your family suffered a tragedy. Yes, both my parents died, while I narrowly escaped from death, albeit having my right leg amputated. But the truth is, I was supposed to have died as well. It was he who saved me in the end. He? Hassan. Ever since Benedicta's death, he had been thinking about her day after day. Then one day, he felt it. He could sense that Benedicta's spirit was still in the world of the ground. Seeing that Benedicta was the only person he regarded as his mistress, he had left the Frezite family in search of her spirit. Eventually he found me. As the magic doll tasked with the role of a guardian, he was pre-installed with basic information on first aid. Owing to that, he managed to keep me alive until the ambulance arrived. I was, in a sense, brought back to life. However, having lost my family and one of my legs in an instant, fragility and emptiness began to accompany me. My normal days of happiness turned into days of despair. I spent those days doing nothing but sleeping and become a mere shell of my old self. Hassan, who by then had acknowledged me as his new mistress, was by my side and tried his best to cheer me up. However, his words to me was simply went 1 year His words to me simply went 1 year in and out the other. But then one day, I began to feel as if there was someone within me. That was when I met Benedicta for the first time. It would turn out that, in exchange for becoming handicapped, I was granted a talent that was out of this world. To elaborate, I awakened Benedicta's soul knowledge that had been lying dormant deep within me. Because of that, I gained not only her prestigious intelligence, but also her presence. The manifestation of Benedicta that resided within me back then was like an innocent child seeking love. After becoming a spirit, and a small portion of her experiences and memories was removed, and became nothing more than symbolizations. What was left in her was her immense, strong, craving to be loved. In other words, it was her somewhat compulsive will to exceed in order to win the love of others. A little girl with a heart that sought love, and extraordinarily intelligence, such as the Benedicta's nature. Benedicta's existence became my pillar of strength. It was a being that was always close to me whenever I went. Thus, I was never alone throughout my entire life. And deep down, I wished to make her happy. Yes, I wished for this poor girl, who remained committed to excellence for the sake of love, even after her death, to be happy always. Like Benedicta, I pursue higher education, and since studying was a strength of mine by nature, it helped to quench a little Benedicta's thirst for brilliance. Then, when I was 18, I published an article about a new theory on spirits, and in turn drew instant attention around the world. Even then, though it was only a small achievement on my part alone, I had, after all, borrowed Benedicta's intelligence and used it as a reference to come up with that theory. Afterwards, my talent was highly rated by scientific societies, and I managed to get sponsored to further my research. As a result, in the year 2752, when I was 20, I formed a team focused on conducting research on spirits. That team was known as the Rio Explorers. It had over 150 members, most of whom were upcoming and young researchers. Unfortunately, the team was so huge in size that it was not possible for me to remember every single one of my teammates. However, there were just 2 of them who I became very close and dear friends with. They were Donald Hostin and Morgan Montellimore. Interesting. Donald was a member of the Rio Explorers? Granny Margot was a member too? Yes, indeed they were. In fact, they are not Serahumans, but humans. Interesting. That would explain why that Granny is unusually multi-talented as opposed to the rest in Chaos. Margot is, after all, a woman gifted with intelligence, beauty, and charisma. During the few years since the team was formed, we were researching on spirits on the surface. Behind the scenes, though, we were working towards achieving our ultimate objective. Do not know what that word. Ultimate objective. That would be to establish an everlasting system that could support the race of Serahumans. In other words, it would be the founding of Frezite, the nation of Seraphim. I discovered an answer with regard to exceptionally talented people. That answer was Serahumans. They are a superior race of humans whose bodies contain second kernel souls and who have greater potential than humans. This is due to the preserved soul knowledge that they inherit from their previous lives. Benedicta's will to exceed drove me to bring the race of Serahumans into existence. And so we, the Rio explorers, began our project of creating Frezite, the nation of Serahim. During the initial years of the project, we had been keeping up appearances by disseminating our research findings to the public. However, as our research picked up speed and began to deviate from the concept of spirits, we stopped publishing our findings. We shifted our base to the former remote continent of Juves in order to avoid attention and further hasten our research there. Eventually, 60 years ago, in the year 2762, our research was complete. We were ready to take the plunge and form Frezite, the nation of Seraphic. Our first step was to use the land of Juves, of the Juves continent as the framework to create the celestial continent of Frezite. That would be what was known today as the Juves continental disappearance. Did the Juves continent rise from into the sky or something? Yes. Benedicta, as the very first second kernel soul, held a deep connection with Gaia's providence, and had the mental fallacy to interfere with it. Thus, we use that as the basis to devise a means to revise a dispensation of Gaia's providence, as well as to introduce a new dispensation. The revised dispensation would have to have the land of Juves stationed in the heavens. Or situated in the heavens, right? I fucking didn't get that right. While the new dispensation would be something that came to be known as the celestial border. What followed was that the land of the Juves continent soared into the sky on its own while being engulfed in light. At the same time, the celestial border came into existence. And so, with the land of the Juves continent in place, we modeled the new world by increasing its land size through molecular manipulation. Eventually, the creation of the celestial continent of Frezite was completed. Later on, we changed our team's name to the Rio Founders in light of founding of Frezite, the nation of Seraphic. A matrilinear monarchy headed by a queen was adopted by Frezite's political system, and I, the team leader, was chosen to become the queen. As proof of Benedicta's existence within me, I changed my name to Catherine Frezite. I also named the calendar of Frezite the Rio calendar, in memory of my original last name. And so Frezite, the nation of Serahim, was founded. However, the nation's starting population was only about 150, all of whom were members of the Rio Founders, and it was just too low for an ideal nation. Furthermore, I was the only Serahuman among them. Thus, we commenced our final grand task, the Frezite population building plan. During the development of Frezite as a nation, we shifted our laboratory to a remote region, now known as the Revelstoke Mountains. There we artificially produced a large quantity of Serahuman aged 0 to 40 in a bid to build a healthy population. By doing so, we created a new generation of people with future prospects and people who were old and fit enough for work. Also, artificially maturation, let alone natural reproduction, was impossible at that time, since I was the only Serahuman. So instead, we came up with the technique of preparing raw bodies, having second kernel souls linked to them to produce Serahumans. We spent 3 years carrying out the plan. A healthy population in Frezite was eventually established, and finally a true nation was formed. After the completion of the plan, we, the Rio founders, ceased operation. Some of the members stayed behind with me at the Internal Affairs office, while others went back to their normal lives. Either way, the team disbanded. Shortly after founding Frezite, I married a Serahuman. Then I gave birth to a daughter, Louise, at the age of 31, and retired at the age of 50 before eventually passing on at the age of 63. However, the period that followed would be when Benedicta and I will go through another series of this. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce that. After my death, my spirit was supposed to head to the soul stream, but instead it deviated from its original course. Usually, a spirit of this kind would eventually vanish for good. In my case, though, it was different. My spirit was claimed by Gaia, after which Benedicta and I became Gaia's prophets, who were dispensations of Gaia's providence. Gaia's prophets. We convey Gaia's state and will to the people in the form of human beings. We also show the way to Gaia's rebirth. Yes, we are, all the while, the chosen ones of Gaia. We are part of Gaia's plan to stand up to the Gaia Cancers after Gaia sensed them as a threat to its life. We are also the stepping stone to Gaia's rebirth. Benedicta was the human chosen by Gaia to be reincarnated into me, the world's very first Serahuman. And the founding of the Frezite by both of us was, in fact, a preparation for achieving Gaia's rebirth. From a local perspective, one would consider our story a string of events worthy to be called a life story. However, from a global perspective, our story signifies Gaia's plan to mend itself. Spanning from the time of Benedicta's birth to the present and beyond, it is a plan that has been ongoing for a long time. The first act was the creation of Serahumans and Frezite. Benedicta and I were the main persons behind this act. The second act was the birth of Seraphic Blue, and the rough challenges posed on Seraphic Blue by the global landscape. Donald and his team of researchers first discovered the Gaia Cancers and Gaia's rebirth, and launched Project Seraphic Blue. Then came Edwin and Syra, who both suffered an unfortunate fate, and the births of Lake and Vene. Since then, until today, it has been a bumpy journey for Seraphic Blue. And the third and final act, which is also the current act, is the decisive battle between Seraphic Blue and Ende. You are the chosen ones, who have begun your mission to destroy the Gaia Cancers, while we are the ones to guide you through that. At the other end, there is Ende, who had begun his full-scale plan to destroy the world, and what awaits us not far ahead is the conclusion to the battle between Gaia and the Gaia Cancers. No matter what the outcome might be, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Have you understood everything that I have told you? This is, after all, the truth about this planet. It is an over 100-year-old battle with Gaia's life at stake. It is a destiny that revolves around the whole world. More or less. This story is so long-winded that it doesn't really excite me, though. By the way, why do you and Benedicta exist in this world today as two separate entities instead of one, seeing that you both share the same spirit? Well, that is because we split into two individuals based on our different personalities when we became Gaia's prophets. Incoincidentally, the appearance that we take on in this world work the same with Ende. Ende takes the form of a mischievous boy with genuine, cruel mentality. Benedicta takes the form of an innocent girl seeking love. And I take form of an elder sister of sort who is committed to protecting Benedicta and to keeping her happy. Well, that's an interesting way to put it. Another question. So, what is it about the Lament of Gaia in the end? The Lament of Gaia. That is, as the name suggests, the cries of Gaia. It is a phenomenon whereby cracks have been formed within Gaia's providence. This is due to Benedicta being a dispensation of Gaia's providence suffering from a severe mental breakdown. Those cracks are not similar to a disease, but are a more of an external wound that threatens to take the life of Gaia. At the same time, they are a breach in Gaia, which the Gaia cancers are bound to take advantage of in order to infiltrate deep into Gaia's body. I need water. Drink. Alright. And in this place is, without a doubt, the embodiment of the lament of Gaia, Benedicta's tears. Everything that you see here is caused by the lament of Gaia, and is a serious wound of Gaia in itself. That is why this wound needs to be treated as quickly as possible. Could it be that Ende had all along aimed to bring about the lament of Gaia? Or, I feel like I'm misphrasing that. Whatever. There is pretty much no doubt about that. Had the Gaia cancers not taken any drastic action, they would not make any progress in their battle with Gaia. Thus, it would only be natural that they would attempt to turn the odds in their favor by first putting this phenomenon into effect. Benedicta has been a valuable existence due to a deep mental scar formed as a result of having failed to win her parents' love. Consequently, Ende had planned from the start to target her with deal a huge blow to her morale. Even the grim armed conflict at Darmstadt, which eventually caused Benedicta to suffer a mental breakdown, was a setup by Ende. As a conflict between heaven and earth occupied, I lost my touch with her as she became obsessed with feeling regret over our actions. I have committed a glaring fault. I was unable to help her get over her guilt of not being worthy of her parents' love. To be honest, there was a case like this in the past. Case like this. It was the war with Devil Disastia 10 years ago. Though I'm not certain if everyone in Mendoza knows about this. The fact that the soul stream was dyed red during that war. Interesting. Come to think of it, the village chief at Mendoza once told us about that. Yeah, I was just reminded of that too. Devil Disastia was a Lucifer. In other words, it was linked to the founding of Frezite, which was carried out by Benedicta and me. Because of that, the war caused by Benedicta to give in to her aforementioned obsession and almost caused her to suffer a mental breakdown. In the end, although the lament of Gaia fortunately did not occur, the phenomenon of the soul stream turned red did. Incoincidentally, that was also the time when Ende came into existence. He did? Well, prior to that, Benedicta and I had barely been able to restrain the Gaia cancers from summoning Ende, but the war with Devil Disastia awakened Benedicta, therefore allowing Ende to materialize, or weaken Benedicta. Looks like I didn't know anything about the war after all. To think a new root of evil would emerge from that battle. I believe that the idea of the armed conflict at Darmstadt that Ende came up with was derived from the war with Devil Disastia. He probably thought that Benedicta would certainly suffer a mental breakdown if another large-scale war involving heaven and earth were to occur. However, much to his surprise, Benedicta held out firmly against his original plan. That was when Ende became irritated and carried out a reckless action outside the skyscraper. He was determined to shove Benedicta into the depths of despair. Ende brutally killed an innocent girl in front of Benedicta's eyes, bringing her to tears in the progress. And the result of that was the Lamb of Gaia and Benedicta's tears. I see. Ende's a heartless bastard as always. Well, I'm not all that surprised. That aside, I wonder how Benedicta was able to find the strength to resist Ende's plan at first, despite the pressure that she was in. Well, the truth is, we got the opportunity to meet Hassan several days ago. It must be the spiritual support that she received from him. I see. So it was Hassan. We are both truly grateful for him. Now then, that will be all I have to say at this point. I will now bring you to the place ahead. The heart of Benedicta's tears. That is also her heart, and the place where she sleeps, and where the core of her sorrow is situated. Better give me a save point if this is going to be a boss fight, because that... Okay, good. So, let's save. That was long. Save the memory 3. And let's organize. Lancerd. Minerva. I don't think we need to change up their equipment. Okay, maybe we do. I don't know if you have paralysis or not, but let's actually go with something else. Boots. Wait a minute, this ain't the right stuff. Crystal boots, more specifically. Maybe Moonveil? Nah. Actually, I don't know. Let's give you Reviver. I feel like giving somebody Reviver would help. Actually, what am I, stupid? Foxy gets Reviver. You get something else. You know what? Give Lancerd 4 start. He's the only one to use it, so 4 start. Yeah. That way we don't have to go through the hassle of bringing force for him. Oh. No, that's only boosted up by like 10%. Yeah, I guess another crystal boots. And then Foxy gets Reviver. I wonder if there is a New Game Plus, because it does mention it can stack, and that's so far our only instance of Reviver. Let's say 4. Are we ready? It's just one enemy, right? They're not gonna have us go explore through another dungeon. The core of Benedicta's sorrow is based entirely around nothingness, and exhibits its true power through that. Thus, be very careful when there is no field element in play. Also, this core is strong, but at the same time very fragile. Depending on the situation, there is a possibility that the core will self-destruct along with Benedicta's mind. Of course, that can be avoided. Taking into account the core's ability to self-destruct, I believe it has a probability to do with the break element. Thus, do take care as well not to allow the break element to be in play. So are you prepared? I mean, we can get rid of break. Very well. Interesting. Benedictus tears. Core. Forget. That is not a big issue for us. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. What am I talking about? Okay, we're gonna pass. What should we do? Pass, Foxy, recover, Minerva, buff, Minerva, hit. And then recover Lancerd? But then we won't have, like, buffs. You know what? No. I think we're just gonna go straight up with her. No, what? Wait, I'm getting this confused. I'm getting this all wrong. Forget stops magic. It's, blind that stops physicals. Okay, we're kind of screwed. That's fun. Oh, high mental? Wait, no, wait. High mental defense, low defense. Okay. I have to think this. I'm gonna lower the volume real quick. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we don't need to recover with... Okay, we're gonna pass again. Foxy is going to wing dresser herself. And then recover Minerva. Or restore Minerva. All green, that's great. I'm actually going to pass, so Minerva goes first. Minerva launches an earth attack. And then Vene can buff everybody. No! Okay, good. Because of the warning signs. So, water gives us clever. We don't have wind, unfortunately. What if I introduce light? I totally did not forget. Yeah, I did forget. I forgot to buff fucking, I forgot to use Minerva's buffs. Whatever, man. That's fine. Sure, we'll try light. Dark Photon. My guess is that you use dark and break, so keep that in mind. Let us... I have no idea what to fucking do, actually. Heal Vene, I suppose? And then Vene can do some stuff. Alright. Actually, I think I could have played that a lot better. Oh well, whatever. We can try buffing everyone with quick, so... Air Slicer. Okay, Foxy is definitely gonna come out first, but unfortunately we can't get rid of that element, otherwise that will be very problematic. So, I suppose we're just gonna buff up manually? So... I guess we can give everyone quick. We don't actually need to use quick right now. I mean, we could save it, I suppose. Erase mine. Uh-oh. You have mines? Great, that did not instant kill me. So that's wonderful. Oh, wonderful. That's doesn't really do much. Wait. Was that an earth element, or did that require a wind element? I'm curious. Okay, so I'd rather just normal defend. let's blaze. Foxy can... Broken Blood? Heat up. Okay. So you use elements. That's interesting. No. Don't fucking confuse us. Then it has all green. Okay, that's good. I don't think you're gonna use light elements, because I don't think I've seen you use light elements. So restore. I don't think this is gonna be that hard of a battle. Just need to be cautious. Minerva. Okay, I can't actually. Let's bring another element. So I can't bring break, but I can bring sky. And we will do just that. That did like no damage. Oh, you use sky too? Uh-oh. That's a big flashy attack. Oh, wow. Okay, very interesting. Do not use sky, you dweeb. Oh. Alright, so we're gonna have to buff up. Alright. You know what? I don't think I'm Mind Fire. Venom. Yeah. Alright, cool. Whatever. That's fine. Buff up. Damn it. We're gonna have to keep introducing elements. Oh, we're just gonna be doing like little damage slowly. Okay, she lost her quick. I do not mind heat up. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do mind heat up. I do mind heat up. I do mind heat up now. Dude, that sucks. I thought it was just a fucking shitty attack because I recovered from it. But then I just remember, wait a minute. Confusion. Shit. That sucks a lot, actually. Ah, fucking Christ, that sucks. I mean, I think I can bounce back, maybe. Okay, new strategy. Erase Mine is not an element. Okay, it's a dark, actually, because it got rid of the light. So, I think using Earth is safe, maybe? I'm gonna regret this decision, am I? I have to bring an element, so... What? What did you do? What does it mean? Wait, that one just, slows everybody? I actually don't mind that. I mean, yeah, it does suck, but, I mean, I can live with it. Okay, quick yourself. buff, I suppose. Oh, fuck. Oh, we can't introduce a fucking element right now. Damn it. We need something to introduce onto the field because they're not fast enough. Unless I quick Minerva and just hope she gets a turn in. I don't know how strong this is. Come on, come on. Damn it. Void fatality. Uh-oh. Is this gonna instant kill? Yep. Well, I'll see you guys in... Oh, Reviver? Oh. We're too slow. Because, of course. I don't think Reviver's worth it. Okay, maybe it is worth it, but, like... thinking about it now, you kind of have to rely on dying. And I'd rather avoid a situation where I die altogether. Yeah. And plus it resets your wait time. What's even the fucking point? I'll see you guys in the next episode.